Chapter 3. Finding your way around Unity. So Unity is now up and running, and there's nothing left standing in your way. Time to get going. Before you build anything, let's first get you acquainted with the different UI elements, controls, and options. You're going to be spending a lot of time here, so it's a good idea to familiarize yourself. What's all this then? Getting acquainted with the IDE. When you get your first look at Unity, Figure 3:1, it can all appear rather confusing with lots of different windows, menus, and options. Fortunately, it's all a lot simpler than it looks once you get going. We'll go over what each of these different views is for over the course of this chapter, and at the same time we'll be able to test our first very simple application. Figure 3:1. Welcome to Unity. You'll be spending a lot of time here first. The views. 39 Copyright Adam Sinicki 2017a. Scene. Right in the center of Unity is a view called Scene. This is where a lot of your work is going to get done and is essentially the window where you'll move your various game objects and arrange everything. This shows you a view of the level menu screen that you're working on at any given time and lets you select and reposition elements around the screen. You can zoom in and out, and if you were in 3D mode you'd also be able to move the camera around 360 degrees. Asset Store. At the top of the Scene window, Figure 3:2, are two tabs that allow you to change between two different functions. Hit the Asset Store tab, and as you might expect, the Scene view will be changed for the Asset Store view. The Asset Store is where you browse for various assets, scripts, game objects, sprites, effects, and more, to include in your own application. These assets are developed by other Unity developers, as well as by Unity Technologies. Some are free and others cost money. Some are very simple additions to existing projects, whereas others are practically entire ready-made games for you to edit as you like. Figure 3:2. Scene, Game, and Asset Store tabs. In short, the Asset Store makes your life considerably easier by ensuring that you won't need to create every single script and sprite by hand. That said, this isn't something you're going to be needing for a while, so for now keep the tab on Scene and don't worry about it. 40. Game. There may be a third tab on this window, as shown in the preceding figure, called Game. This view is where you'll see the actual game as it will appear when it's live. And when you play the game, this is where it will be located, unless you choose to maximize the game as you play it. If game isn't located in the same place, it will be around there somewhere. You have freedom to change the positions of the windows, and sometimes after an update, the default setup can get moved around. Most people should find that everything is in the same place and they can follow along with these instructions. If not, you should be able to locate each element pretty quickly. You can't drag and drop elements into the game view, as you can in the Scene view, and you can't select them or move them around either. That said, for the most part game view will mirror what you're seeing in the Scene view with a few differences. For one, the perspective will be fixed to the in-game camera, meaning you'll see what your players will see when they launch the game. Likewise, when there are multiple items sharing the same X and Y coordinates, the item on top will be the one closest to the camera along the Z-axis, rather than the one selected. If this all sound a little confusing, don't worry about it. It will make sense once you see how it all works, and that applies to all the windows. Services. Usually located to the right of the Scene view is the Services tab, which shares a window with the inspector. This includes such things as ads for monetization, analytics for learning about how your players are enjoying your games, multiplayer, and so forth. Note that some of these features will be missing or limited if you have the free version. For now, you can completely ignore this window. These services will mainly come into effect for more ambitious projects and only once those apps are live in the Play Store. Inspector. Next comes the tab that often shares its window with services, the Inspector. Figure 3:3. The Inspector is what you will use to see and edit details of game objects. So when you select a game object like a sprite in the Scene view, you'll then be able to use the inspector in order to view things like the name of the object, the dimensions, any scripts that might be attached, and so on. 41. Figure 3:3. Inspector and Services. You'll be using the inspector a lot, so keep this where you can see it.